CAR T therapy is this new therapy. There's been 2 therapies that have been FDA approved in the last 6 months. They are these therapies that are supposed to combat the cancer cells in your body. So right now it's been approved for 2 different blood cell cancers. What happens is it takes the patient's blood out of their body, ships it off to a manufacturing facility, engineers the T cells in their blood to express a receptor, the chimeric antigen receptor. That's what the CAR stands for in CAR T. And then once these T cells have been engineered, they go back and are put back into the patient. And then these cells are, moving throughout the patient's body to detect and kill the cancer cells in the body. So it's this relatively new, fascinating therapy that uses the patient's immune system to hopefully kill the cancer in their body. So the interesting part about these therapies, as it's received quite a lot of press, and it might be expected, that they are very expensive. So there's 2 therapies right now. One is Kymriah, which is in the pediatric acute lymphoblastic leukemia disease state. Its price tag is $475,000. Then there's Yescarta, which is in the adult B-cell lymphoma population, and it's $373,000.
The cost of CAR T therapy has a huge sticker shock. The price is commensurate with not a car now, but the cost of a house, or even more than the average cost of a house. And so CAR T therapy is something we should be thinking about in terms of our spending dollars in healthcare. However, our contributions to this report really talk about value and not just the cost of something. So our contributions to the ICER report include cost effectiveness, and so we evaluate not only the curative rates of CAR T therapies, but also the cost.
We went into this knowing that these therapies are expensive, and we went into it knowing that there's been evidence for quite a substantial life year gained and quality adjusted life year gained. And so we, put all of these different pieces into our cost effectiveness puzzle and found that the price of these therapies was priced so that they did produce good value.
So Americans might think of value as something being cheapest or lowest cost. However, the real definition of value includes cost and measures of benefit. The measures of benefit that we include in cost effectiveness research for health is some measure of health benefit or health gains. The alternatives to CAR T therapy include last-line chemotherapy agents and stem cell transplant. And with these options, patients only have a 10 to 20% cure rate. CAR T therapies alternatively have a 40 to 50% cure rate. And so the difference in cure rate is quite large, and that's the big opportunity for patients.
You hear these extremely expensive price tags and you may be taken aback a little bit, but there's been evidence that suggests they prolong life substantially in these populations. Kymriah is approved in the pediatric acute lymphoblastic leukemia space. So these are children with leukemia. The FDA label is for at least 2, and to be in the refractory or relapse state. So these are children that have tried chemotherapy and tried other agents to get rid of their cancer, and it hasn't worked. And so now they've relapsed and have their cancer again and are getting CAR T. So that's Kymriah, the pediatric leukemia space. The second product, Yescarta, is in adult B-cell lymphoma, also in this relapse refractory state.
This research has an opportunity to benefit patients, providers, payers, as well as sort of our society as a whole, because we have the opportunity to really think about how we're using our healthcare resources and how we can better use them.
Not a lot of people are doing what we're doing and looking at the cost effectiveness of these to be able to inform the healthcare system of, yes, these are expensive, and yes, there's some evidence that suggests these could be associated with great clinical benefit. So let's combine those evidence and be able to inform healthcare on if it's good value. And so that's really what we are doing.